Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be analyzing GBPJPY, NZDCHF and USDCAD. As you know, I always start at that time frame to see what has been happening in the past and where the price is right now. So as you can see here at the bottom, we have our strong support, and whenever price touched this level, it pushed up. Even here, right here again, and even right here, it pushed up again. What else do we see? We have a level right here, a resistance level here. We see with this touch here, this one, and recently this one right here. So we know whenever we're at a resistance level, we are looking for selling opportunities, and whenever we're at a support, we're looking for buying opportunities. We see that we had a push downwards and this double bottom formation, so we know any sell that we may be getting here may just be short-lived to prepare price to break towards the upside and complete the reversal right there. In the near future, that's what we'll be expecting, but for now, let's drop it down to the lower time frame to see what's happening there. On the daily, we see that we had our higher highs and higher lows forming there, and recently our higher highs. So we know from the recent price, we can see that whenever price came for a higher high, it dropped down to a higher low again, right here again here. Even here we see a higher low formed right here. So recently we have a higher high right here, so we know we're expecting a drop to form a higher low. So from that, we can take two things from this. We have our uptrend because of our higher highs and higher lows, and also this higher low right here. Should it be broken, it will be an indication that price is ready to change direction to go towards the downside. But for now, we're expecting price to push to come and retest this trend line right here, which also happens to be our strong resistance here. It will be becoming our support right there. So we're expecting a move towards this area right there. So let's go down to lower time frames to see what we can do with this information. So from here, we see that people were trapped on the wrong side here, the resistance, and price came down, retested, and then pushed downwards. With that, it was forming lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and a lower low. So we know it's about to form a lower high somewhere around this point. What else do we see? We see a strong support zone here, which was recently broken and is now currently being retested. So two things can happen from this. It's either from here we can drop towards this level, or we can change the direction of this downtrend and push towards the upside. But should any of those two things happen, we know we'll be ready. In order to look for buys in this situation, we'll be expecting for price to cross this trend line, retest this resistance zone, which will be now our support, to push towards the upside. That's what we'll be expecting to see, because we can see we had a push towards the upside, and now we are in a correction. We are in a correction right here. So that's our first situation when we are looking for buying opportunities. Our second one, price may immediately drop from this zone right here, price may be dropping to complete our move towards the downside. However, we also have to wait for price to finish forming whatever it's doing there. We have to wait. So how can we catch these sales? This is how we can do it. Should price come back, retest this zone right here to form a resistance, we'll be expecting for price to cross this trend line, retest, and then we'll be entering here with our stop loss above here as an invalidation area, and then we'll be taking our sells towards the downside, towards this area right here. So sells or buys will be ready for this. We'll be ready for this pair. Whatever it gives us, we will be following. It's important to remember that we don't control the market, we just react to whatever it's doing. So for now, this is what we'll be waiting for. A break of either of these trend lines will confirm where we'll be taking our entries. Other than that, we are done with this. Let's move on to NZDCHF. Same story also with here. As you can see here, we can see we also have the same situation right here of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and a higher low right here. So whenever price comes from a higher low, it pushes up to a higher high. From here again, pushes up to a higher high. So we know even here we're expecting price to eventually break this higher high to form another higher high somewhere around this area. So let us mark our levels. We have a level right there. And another one right here. This has been our support right here, rejected. Another one here pushed up. It was our support again, pushed up. It was our support before price crossed and became our resistance, became our support again, and now it is our support. So whenever price comes from this level here, we know it pushes up to our resistance level right there. So when we adjust this accordingly to include this touch right here, we know we are expecting price to push towards that level right there to form our higher high right there. So with this we are done. Let's move on to the daily time frame. As you can see here, we had a push towards the upside and we had a correction right here. So with this correction, you can see it was a push towards the upside and became a flag. It was crossed and retested right there. Let's also cater for this double bottom. That flag, we had a double bottom right there, and our neckline right there. So as you can see, price is currently on our neckline. So two things can happen from here again. You can expect a push towards the upside or a break of this, a retest because it's a strong level as you can see previously, and then a push towards the downside. Those are the two things that may occur with this. What else do we see? We see with when you connect these 3 points right here, our higher lows. This is our first touch, our second touch right here, and we can see price is currently on our third touch. So as third touch on our trend line, validating this trend line, and also a touch on our support zone. This gives us a strong confirmation to go for buying opportunities. So should our trend line be crossed, that's when we'll be expecting to go for selling opportunities. So our targets will be like this. Should we go for buying opportunities? That will be our first target, our second target, and the final target will be based off this major move right here. I'll push towards the upside, correction, and another push towards the upside right there. That's what we'll be expecting eventually, but for now let's go to the lower time frame to see how we can use the information that we have to our advantage. So let me adjust this accordingly first. So we see after this retest, price pushed upwards, and now it has been correcting towards this trend line and this zone right here. So this is how we'll be capitalizing on this move. First, let us draw our trend lines so that the correction becomes clearer. We can see we had our first touch here, our second touch, and people were trapped on the wrong side right here. So whenever I see the violation of our third touch, I know I'm expecting to see a break of our trend line on the upside. Same way when it's a bearish pattern, when you see a third touch which is violated, you should expect to see a break towards the downside. So for here, we know we're expecting a break of this resistance trend line to continue this move towards the upside. So let's move to the 1 hour time frame to look for entries. So as you can see here, we are at our support, which was our neckline. This is our double bottom neckline from our greater flag, our bigger flag right there. And price recently crossed and retested this trend line right here. So from here, our buys are ready. We can buy this right here, putting our stop loss here, which will be our invalidation area, and placing our targets as I've mentioned earlier on. Our first target, our second target, and our final target over there. Other than that, we are done with this. We know we're expecting buys, so let's move on to USDCAD. USDCAD, same story also. We start at the higher time frame to see what has been happening here. So as you can see, we had our resistance area right there, which formed a double top, and we had a support area right here, a strong support area right here, which was right here, our neckline of this double top. So Should this double top be confirmed, we know we're expecting a push towards this level right here in the coming weeks or months. But for now, because we are here, let us zoom in and see what we can do with this information. As we can see here, price, whenever it touched it, pushed up, and then whenever it touched it, came down, pushed up again, and then came down. So from here we see a push towards the upside, and then price stopped in this area right here, which was our strong support, became our support. People were trapped on the wrong side here, became our resistance here, resistance again, our support, and then when it was finally crossed, it became our resistance right there. So since it's our resistance, we know we're expecting a push towards our support right here, either to form a double bottom to push towards the upside, or to cross this level, retest our neckline, and push towards the downside to complete the reversal of this move. So for now we are done. Let's move towards the lower time frames to see what else price is telling us. So from here we can see that we had this pattern right here. Price was playing on this side for a long time before dropping down and breaking this pattern right here. We also see that we have a resistance area right here. We see this resistance area right here, where price also crossed this level right here. So we know we are expecting a retest of this level right here before price pushes further towards the downside. So that's what we are expecting to see here, a retest and then push further towards the downside. So as we can see, price came from an impulse move right here, so it's currently correcting towards this level. So we know an impulse and action, we are expecting another impulse towards the downside. So for now, let's go down towards the lower time frame to see what we can do with this information. We can see we had a pattern right here forming. This is our pattern right here forming, our flag, which came from our impulse move. So as you can see here, price has decided to come and retest this level right here. It crossed, and then now it's currently retesting this level right here. So that's what we're expecting now. Expecting a push towards the downside like so. Expecting a push towards the downside like so. As you can see here, it was a strong support, became a resistance, trapping people on the wrong side again here, became a support again, our support here, and recently it broke this level and is currently retesting. It has retested first time here and now for the second time here, and it's retesting with a rejection, which is a strong indication that it's a strong level. As you can see here, we have a shooting star forming here. We have a shooting star forming right here at our strong resistance trend line and zone. These are double confirmations for a sell. So we know for a sell we have double confirmations, and the third confirmation is this shooting star. So we know when this shooting star closes, we can take ourselves towards the downside. So we're waiting for a close of this candlestick right here, and we'll be taking ourselves towards the downside right there. When you go to the lower term, you can see there was a bearish candlestick pattern that formed right there. Here, as you can see, we had a bullish pattern, a bullish candlestick, and it was engulfed by this bearish candlestick right here. So this confirms our sells. The sells are ready. We can take ourselves also here towards the downside. Or if you are conservative, you can also wait for price to break and retest this trend line right here. Wait for a break and a retest of this trend line and take it towards the downside right there. So our targets will be this one right here, and the final one being this one right there. Other than that, we are done with these pairs. Should this trend or this setup be invalidated, we'll be expecting a cross of this zone, a retest right here, and a further push towards the upside. That's the invalidation of this setup, but for now we know we are looking for selling opportunities. So we are done with this pair. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.